Hello students, how are you? This is Nilofer Mees, your SS teacher. Today I am going to teach you lesson number 8 of social science named Framing of Constitution and its Features. How was the Constitution framed and what are its features? All the things we are going to know today. I will explain you in very easy language. I very well know that this is civics, and so in this subject you have to remember more. Sometimes it seems to be boring, but if you will today learn, it will be very interesting. You will like it. And as it is even important to know about our constitution, if you will know about the constitution, so many other things will be clear in your mind. You will know our country well and your rights. Even what are your duties and how to live in the country, everything you will get to know. This is the first part of the chapter. Further, I will go with the part 2. So in this chapter, we will know that how this constitution framing began, who were involved in that, who was the chairman, who was the president, from where it began, and after that we will know that what is the preamble, which is the most important point. This chapter is not only important for 9th standard, it is even important for 10th standard plus the competitive exams if you will give in future. In those exams also the questions from the constitution are coming. So here we go with chapter 8 GSEB, Framing of Constitution and its Features. So here is the first slide in front of you. What is constitution? So the first question of the chapter, what is the meaning of constitution? Constitution means what? See, now I haven't changed anything from the text. Whatever is in your textbook, that same I have taken here. So the answer is any systematic collection of rules designed to govern a country's regime is known as constitution. So what is the constitution? See, suppose if you are running a school, if you are running a factory, or just suppose that you are running a company. So to do that work, there are some rules. It means according to those rules, your work should be done. And the employees who are working over there, they must be knowing about the rules of it. It means where a person is working, he or she has to obey the rules and regulation of the same company. So the simple meaning of the constitution is one kind of rule book. As here it is written, systematic collection of rules. So the rules which are made for the country and the people living in the country, the citizens of the country have to obey those rules. According to that, these all rules are systematically kept in the constitution. Why we need it? To govern a country's regime. Next is the importance. What is the importance of constitution? See, now here, see the last point. That is the reason constitution is known as a live and a basic document. So maybe this kind of reason can be asked, or like the statement would be given that constitution is known as a live and a basic document. Elaborate it. So these are all the points. These 5 points are the answer to this question. So see the first point, constitution is the basic, first of all it is basic and most important document. It is very important because our whole country is running according to that. Why? Because the laws of the country are based on the constitution. Whatever laws are made, these all laws are related to the constitution. These laws are based on the constitution. See the third point, the country's constitution and the constitutional laws should be subject to relevant provisions. It means whatever the laws are there of the country, it should be related to the constitution. The laws should be made by keeping the base as the constitution. Not a single law which is against the constitution will work in the country. All the facilities of the country are related to the constitution. It means it should be according to the constitution. See now the next point. The constitution is superior to all the laws of the country. See how many laws are there in our country. But the superior to all the laws is the constitution. In the fifth point it is written, constitution involves periodically changing requirements of the people's aspirations, expectations, interests, as well as the emotions which are high. Here you have to see and decide that in the last point it is written the constitution is live. Why it is alive? Constitution is not dead that once it is written then no changes would be done. But constitution is changing. But how? How it is changing? And what would be the reason to change the constitution? So the reason of it, see it is written people's aspirations. It means the desires of people. Expectations. These desires are changing, expectations are changing, interests are changing, as well as the emotions are changing. So as all things change in the duration of time to time it is changing. According to this change, even the constitution is changing. See for example, your house is there, okay, and you have furnished it according to your choice. But as it is made, maybe after a few years you will get to know that you want to change it. You are not liking it. So your desires are changing, whether your expectations are changing, your interests are changing. So what you will do, you will make the change in the furniture. Maybe you will change the TV also of your house. The changes you will do according to your choice. So here, even with the constitution, that is the point of view that we are telling that constitution is alive. Because it is changing according to the time and expectations of the people. That's why it is written in the sixth point that that's the reason constitution is known as alive and a basic document. See now the next point, process of framing the constitution. It means how this process started of framing the constitution, when it began. So before independence, here we are talking about the year when we were not independent. We got independence in 1947. Here we are talking about 1946. The British government handed the duty to the cabinet mission of 3 members to find a solution to the questions of India's independence on 25th March 1946. Here the date you have to remember. What was the day and date? 25th March 1946. What British government did? It made a committee of 3 members. To these members, British government talked like that see, so many questions will raise after the independence. So to solve those questions, these 3 members were appointed. So these 3 members committee started working on it. Now see the next point. On the basis of recommendations of the cabinet mission, the Constituent Assembly was constituted and the structure of the constitution was decided. So these people discussed over that, and first of all they decided that first we have to make one constitution. And so for that they needed Constituent Assembly. And then what kind of constitution we will have, that was decided. As there were so many questions in mind, like there are so many countries in the world, but what kind of constitution should India have? So it was decided that what would be the structure of the constitution. See now, next, Constituent Assembly. Now how many members are comprised in it? It can be asked in 1 mark question. How many members were there? 389 members were there in Constituent Assembly. And how were these members? They were from different religion, different caste, different gender and different types of people from various geographical diversification. Political representatives and experts from various sectors were included. Now the people from all different states came over there, so that they must be first knowing that what are the problems in which state. related to the states there must be problems. There must be problems related to the religion. Different religion have different problems. Different castes has different problems. Gender wise there are various problems. So if all type of people would be present over there, so all the issues can be solved over there. That's why different religion, different caste, different gender, and people from various geographical diversification, even political representatives and experts from various sectors were included in this assembly. They sat together and discussed about the needs of the different people of different states. Even the culture of different states was kept in mind, so that nothing would be left. Each and every issue, each and every point related to the citizens of India were included in it. So now see, who were the male representatives of the Constituent Assembly? So the names are here: Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad, Baldev Singh, Shyam Prasad Mukherjee, H.P. Modi, H.V. Kaman, Frank Anthony, Kanhaiyalal Munshi, Krishna Swamy Iyer. Actually, these are only some of the names I am taking. We are not having that much time to discuss all the names of the members of Constituent Assembly. And the women representatives of the Constituent Assembly were Sarojini Naidu and Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. After that, first of all, see the photo given over here, and the name given below that. It is the name of the same person. Who is he? Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Who was he? He was the president of the Constituent Assembly. This question is very important, that who was the president of Constituent Assembly? You have to remember Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Afterwards, to draft the constitution, one drafting committee was appointed. And who was made the chairman of the drafting committee? So Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee. Even this question you have to remember, it is very important. See, his photo is given over here. And as all the members were appointed, then this Constituent Assembly started working. From which date it started working? So from 9th November 1946. Now see the next point. See, it is not easy to frame the constitution in once only. So this Constituent Assembly met for how many times they met? So they met for 166 sessions spread over a year of 2 years, period of 2 years, 11 months and 17 days. See, that time WhatsApp groups were not there, mobiles were not there. So what was important to discuss was to meet to each other. So this Constituent Assembly, the members of the assembly, they met each other. And how much period of time they took? They took period of time of, in these 2 years, 11 months and 17 days, they met for 166 times. Then after meeting, these members of assembly had discussed threadbare each and every detail of its provisions, keeping in concern the matters of constitution of different countries. They even watched the constitution of different countries, that how the other countries are having constitution. Even the least points were discussed in the meeting. Means the smallest issues were also discussed. They even see that what are the negative effects of the constitution of other country. If that negativity would happen in that country, and if we will take the same rules in our country, what will happen? Those things were also discussed. As we are having different culture than other countries. There were 295 articles and 8 appendices in this constitution. These appendices are kept at the last of the constitution to find out any of the references. With the help of these appendices, you can find out any of the reference from the constitution easily. See the next point, after amendments. See, this word you have to remember, amendments. Amendments means changes. So after changes, after amendments, there are 395 articles and 9 appendices. It means when it was framed, there were 295 articles and 8 appendices, but after the changes now there are 395 articles and 9 appendices. On 26th November 1949, the constitution was unanimously passed in the Constituent Assembly. So it was now prepared. The drafting work was also done. And it was passed in the Constituent Assembly that okay, now this would be our constitution. Then on 26th Jan 1950, Constitution of India came into existence and India was declared a republic nation. See, it took 2 months from passing to be declared and came into existence. And so thereafter every year on 26th January we celebrate Republic Day with national fervor. Then the next point, in the Indian Constitution we have 4 lions as a national emblem and a national slogan Satyameva Jayate, which means truth will always win. This was also kept in constitution that what would be national emblem of India. So the 4 lions, see the picture is given below. And what would be national slogan of India? So it would be Satyamev Jayate. Now what are the provisions in the constitution? So the constitution provides for citizenship, rights and duties of the people, directive principles of the state policy, union-state relations, elections, emergency provisions. See, it means how will the person get the citizenship of India. All the rules and regulations related to the citizenship are written. Then rights and duties, that what would be the rights of the people and what would be the duties of the people. What would be the directive principles, union and state, it means how would be the relationship between the nation and the state, how will the elections be formed, and what would be emergency provisions. So many rules regarding to all these points are kept in the constitution, and thus the Constitution of India is the most detailed and elaborated national document. Now, what is preamble? So, in the first point only, see it is written, preamble is the core. Core means central, like heart is there in our body. And as heart is important for our body, same like that, preamble is also the core and important part of constitution. It is known as the heart of the constitution. You can't understand constitution without preamble. Next point, Indian Constitution begins with preamble. So you must understand how important it would be. See the next point, the words written in the preamble highlights the soul of the Constitution. We can say the soul of the Constitution, the heart of the Constitution is preamble. See now here is the preamble, the Constitution of India. See the preamble, we the people of India. See here we is written, here I is not given, it isn't for one person, it isn't written by one person, but here we. It means all the Indians are included in that. As we know that this is a democratic country, it means this constitution is made by us and is for us. See now what it is further. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a, see the first word is sovereign. Sovereign means nobody is there to rule over us. It means if any problem occurs in our country, so we don't have to ask any other country for the solution. We don't have to take permission from any other country. We can take our own decisions. As we are sovereign, we are free, nobody is there to rule over us. Then comes socialist. We Indians are very social, we are living in the society. It isn't like China that keep the society aside, our country should go ahead. No, it isn't like that. We are looking into our societies first. We are thinking about our societies first. That's why socialist. Then secular. Secular means you can follow any of the religion. Nobody is going to stop you here. Here you are free to follow any of the religion. That's why secular word is used here. Then comes democratic. It means we are having democracy. The people in India, they are selecting their representatives themselves. As the definition is there, for the country, by the country. As in starting only it is written that we the people of India, we are here democratic. Then republic, and to secure to all its citizens. Here the word republic. Republic means here we are not having heredity like the king's son will sit on the throne after the king. It isn't like that here. Here republic means the head of the country. We are selecting that person. The people living in India, they are selecting the head of the, directly or indirectly they are selecting the representative, the head of the country. And why? To secure to all its citizens. See, now the next point is justice. Justice is for everybody. Social, economic and political way. In the social way also the person should get justice, economic way also the person should get justice, and even the political way the person should get justice. Justice should be equal for each and every citizen of India. It isn't like that if the person is socially backward then he will not get justice. It isn't like that. If the person is economically weak then the person will not get justice. No, it isn't like that. If the person is far away in the politics, so that person will get justice. No, justice is equal for each and every citizen of India. Next point is liberty. Liberty means one kind of freedom. What kind of freedom we are having? We are having liberty of thought. We can think anything. Expression, we can express ourselves. Belief, whatever we want to believe, we can believe. Faith and worship, any religion we can go through. We can follow any of the religions. So we are having liberty of thinking, expressing ourselves, beliefs, faith and worship. Then comes equality. Equality in what manner? So equality of status and of opportunity. Every person is getting opportunity here, and to promote among them all. If you are good in the studies, so you will get the opportunity to come first in the class. Same like that in the country, all the people, all the citizens are getting equal opportunity and even equal status. Next comes fraternity. Fraternity means here we should live like a family. In that, assuring the dignity of the individual, each person, all individual, those who are living individually, even their dignity is important, their respect is important, and the unity and integrity of the nation. But we have to keep in mind that the unity and integrity of the nation should be followed. For example, you are thinking that you are independent and you are free, so you can't harm the freedom of other person, like you are going on the road and you are driving anywhere your vehicle. So here you are harming the dignity, the respect of the other person. So you have to keep in mind that all the citizens are free here, and as we are getting the freedom, we are having some of the duties together with. So we have to follow even the duties. We have to respect each person, each citizen of the nation, as all the citizens of the country are having equal rights and equal duties. Then in our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. It means we don't have to divide, we don't have to part our country. It should be united in one. Here we are adopting the constitution. We the people, as it started in the starting only, we the people of India. So the people of the assembly also, they were all Indians. So here they are telling that do hereby adopt. Even we are adopting the constitution with all the provisions in it, and we are giving this our constitution to ourselves. It means the rules which are made by us, we are going to follow it. See now the next point. The preamble remained unchanged till 1976. So there was no change till 1976. In 42nd constitutional amendment in 1976, the words socialist, secular, unity and integrity of the nation were added. These words were not there in the constitution till 1976, but here changes came. Amendment means here the changes came, and by these changes these words were added in the constitution. See the next point. The preamble verbalizes the fundamental objectives of the constitutional aims, ideas and principles. It means what is shown in the preamble. So the fundamental object, the basics and the constitutional aims, ideas and principles are shown by the preamble. Next point. Therefore, the preamble straightway gives a clear insight of the rule of welfare. It is for the welfare of the country, it is for the welfare of the nation, it is for the welfare of the people living in India. And the next point, the preamble reflects constitution framers' psyche. It means what were their thinking. According to their thinking, what they thought that time was right, they wrote in the constitution, and through this constitution we got to know that those people were how they were high thinking, they were having the quality of high thinking, as they took each and every point in the constitution. So it reflects, it shows us that how the framers' psyche was there, how they were thinking that time. So through this preamble we got to know the mentality of the people who were sitting while framing the constitution. We have learned enough for today in this video. I will complete my video here. This is the first part of the chapter. The other part I will take in the next video. Hope you understood it well. If you are having any query, if you are having any question related to any topic which I taught you just now, you may call me. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, and yes, you have to note down these points in the notebook and you have to even learn it. Thank you.